Najee Harris buys himself a year of relevancy. The Los Angeles Chargers were once again a top destination for running backs in free agency. Najee Harris being the lucky dog who gets to land there and join up with Jim Harbaugh, offensive coordinator Greg Roman, and of course Justin Herbert. Offense led by Herbert, never going to be a bad thing for a running back. Lots of scoring opportunity potentially there. J.K. Dobbins was just really good, had a career resurgence for the Chargers last season. He is still a free agent, so things could get a little bit messy here. But Najee Harris right now looks to have the job to himself. Now, by now, you've heard all the Najee Harris stats, about 1,000 yards every season. He doesn't really fumble. He plays every game. He's a pretty reliable player. And that's kind of what I think he'll be for fantasy football purposes next season, is mostly in that same role. Probably like a reliable RB2, low-end RB2, who when he gets touchdowns, he'll be a higher-end RB2. And when he doesn't, he'll be outside that, probably about RB36 or so, right? He can get game scripted out of games. And that's one thing that I think is concerning about him. It kind of limits that hope and that upside for Najee Harris. But it was the dream landing spot. It's where you want everybody to go. If you have Najee Harris in a dynasty league, this is the best thing that could have happened for him. Elsewhere, Rico Dowdle was a nice surprise last season. And Chuba Hubbard was a nice surprise last season in Carolina. So, hey, let's just put them together, right? So Rico now with Chuba Hubbard out there in Carolina. I have a feeling this could be a little bit messy, could be a little splitty, and I don't love that for either of them. I think Nico could be the better draft day value. I think he will just go later in fantasy drafts than what Chuba Hubbard will. But, you know, it's an offense where I think volume would really be a necessity to be a fantasy contributor here, and if neither's going to get that, I have a really hard time seeing either one being super relevant until there's an injury to the other one, or if one of them just simply falls off a cliff. Last one we're going to touch on here, and that is the guy who was replacing Rico Dowdle with the Dallas Cowboys. That's Javonte Williams. It's kind of weird in a way, where I find myself much more excited about the guy who got less money, who is replacing the guy who got more money with Javonte. The opportunity is there for Javonte in Dallas. He was really good way back in his rookie year. Remember all those eons ago, back when Javonte was a rookie with Denver Broncos. He was really exciting, a really fun, explosive player. That explosivity has been gone, though, ever since the knee injury. And maybe enough time has passed to really open things up for him, and maybe he can finally get some of that explosion back. But that was not the case in 2024. He was one of the least explosive running backs in the entire NFL. However, if the only competition remains Miles Sanders and let's say a day 3 running back, I can get a little bit into Javonte then. I think he'd be interested. I think that rookie is still going to be very important, though, for the Dallas Cowboys running back. So not a very exciting class of free agency this year for the running back position. Last year, you had Saquon Barkley and Joe Mixon and Derrick Henry. That was a lot more fun. This year, hey, we get Javonte and Najee and Rico Dowdle, right? But there is still important things to be had here. Guys, the one who I want to know the most from you, where are you ranking Najee Harris right now? I have not done any new rankings just yet. I'm going to hold off till probably after the NFL draft next month. But I want to know kind of what range you think for Najee Harris. So put that in the comments down below. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the ADP.